Hey guys, good afternoon. This is Kevin Ellis, local president of 2338. Today is March the 7th, 2025, and we're inviting you out to a rally tomorrow outside the front entrance or the front gates of the John J. Pershing VA Medical Center. We're going to be rallying tomorrow in support of federal workers and support of bargaining unit employees that work for our hospital. Some of you may not know, but one third of the VAs of the federal workforce comprise of veterans. One third of the federal workforce is comprised of veterans. That's veterans from the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, National Guard, you know. So one third of the workforce are veteran employees. Now, you've been hearing the VA and Doge talk about cutting the federal workforce and shrinking it down. I saw a report a couple of days ago that they're looking to cut about 83,000 positions from the Department of Veteran Affairs. That's about 20% of the workforce. So we are rallying against any cut of bargaining unit positions or any cuts to the federal government at all. We know that our facility is already operating in a lot of areas at minimum staffing, which means when somebody takes annual leave, they're shorthanded. If somebody's calling in sick, they're shorthanded. Uh, we're already operating on at least minimum staffing. Some areas are operating understaffed. So we are rallying against any cuts um, with the Department of Veteran Affairs, and especially the John J. Pershing VA Medical Center. Most of you probably know that John J. Pershing is a major employer for Butler County and a major employer that supplies um, resources for communities like Naylorville, Puxico, Donovan, Elsinore, Piedmont, Van Buren. Uh, we have a lot of people that work in and around Poplar Bluff that relies on the John J. Pershing VA Medical Center. And any type of cut is going to cause a major disruption in people's lives. People rely on their jobs to make sure they have food, make sure they can pay their rent, make sure they can pay their mortgages, their car payments, make sure they have health care, make sure they can put food on their table, make sure they can clothe their children. And some of us even care for grandparents and our own parents. So any cut to federal employees and federal employees' employment will have a detrimental effect in rural America. Rural America is not the same as urban America. We're not Kansas City, Missouri. We're not San Antonio, Texas. We live in a rural part of the country, and a major employer like ours, the John J. Pershing VA Medical Center, losing employees would take a big bite out of people's everyday lives. Um, you're going to see the unemployment rate shoot up. You will see businesses suffer. Walmart would begin to suffer. Aldi's will begin to suffer. Walgreens will begin to suffer. Hospitals will begin to suffer. Our own agency, our own VA Medical Center will begin to suffer if you see employees being terminated. We also rallying against any cuts to Medicaid and Medicare. We know that some of our veterans do not receive 100% of all of their medical care paid for by the Department of Veteran Affairs. Some of them rely on Medicaid, some of them rely on Medicare, and some of those are even living nursing homes. Cuts to Medicaid and Medicare would affect their ability to uh, uh, have treatment provided to them in a nursing home. So we are rallying against those types of cuts. We are also rallying against cuts to Social Security. A lot of our community in Poplar Bluff and Butler County relies on Social Security. So those benefits do not need to be cut as well. And we are rallying against those type of cuts. And we're also rallying against the cuts of probationary employees. Probationary employees play a vital role. Probationary employees have the ability to come in, learn the job, um, learn how to perform the work so that when we have employees who are retiring and leaving the federal workforce, we don't have a gap. We don't have a gap in service. So so probationary employees play a vital role and a vital services. And you probably heard and seen in the news where now words have come out from the White House and been reported in OPM that local agencies are responsible for making any cuts to their federal workforce, which means probationary employees who were terminated by DOGE, who received an email they were terminated, should be returned back to full duty. I know we have at least one here that was terminated during their probationary period, and we're expecting for them to be returned back to full duty. So we know that by law, the employees are given the opportunity to show themselves successful on the job in accordance with 5 CFR 815 dash 801 and dash 802. So when you remove the employee's ability to show themselves to be successful and you terminate them on any other means, then you're violating federal law. The one employee that I know of was terminated here. His supervisors did not want him to be terminated. The young man was working great. We have letters of support from his supervisory chain, his co-workers and his peers saying that he is a great employee and he was fully successful. He was 2 weeks from his probationary period ending and he was illegally terminated by DOGE, not by his supervisor, not by the local agency, but by an outside entity. And that is not how the federal government is supposed to work. So if you want to join us tomorrow, we're going to begin at 12 noon. We're going to ask you if you're going to join. Show up somewhere between 11:30 and 11:45 and come join. Come join the rally with us. Help us raise our voices in support of all of us together. Now, you cannot rally during duty time. You can rally on your lunch break, which is not a paid time. You cannot rally on government property and you cannot rally on government time. Okay. It has to be off campus and off your tour of duty. And with the rally being on a Saturday, 90%, 95% of our employees are not going to be working on a Saturday. So if you want to come out and join us and raise your voice and show your support, come on out and join us. We'd love to have you. Once again, the rally is going to be tomorrow starting at about 12 noon. We'd love to see your smiling face there. God bless you, and you have a great weekend.